Hello, and welcome to another episode of SprueCast. I'm joined as ever by Josh, Gil, and Gordon, who are my partners in crime. Um, and this week we've got some interesting topics. We're going to be looking at primers. We're going to be looking at some of our favourite builds of the week. We're going to be looking at what we've been doing, and maybe even we might do a little bit of work online if there's time. So, to kick things off, I'm going to talk about something that we've had a really weird week this week. It's not really about modelling, but it's really bizarre. So I'm gonna share this. I've had 3 nights this week where something's gone bump in the night. Well, at 9 minutes past 3, in 2 nights in a row, I've woke up to a loud thud. And it's been 9 minutes past 3 exactly.
Wow.
Right. So, and we've had other weird stuff going on in the house. We were sat watching the telly and the fan just fell off the shelf. Stuff like this, and it's just weird, right? So I got talking to the next door neighbour, and we've known them for a long time. We haven't really communicated with them, but he tells us that he felt his house was haunted, right? He said that he's got loads of weird stuff going on in his house, drawers that are physically very difficult to open. Getting up in the morning and all the drawers are open, and stuff like that. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, you got a kukui in the house.
Yeah, and it's just really now. I don't disbelieve in the occult. There's so many evil things in the world that I have to. You cannot disagree with it. Maybe you can, but I don't. So, but having said that, I'm not a complete nutcase either. I've not gone out and got the juju sticks and started dancing around at 12 o'clock in the garden naked under the hose pipe. We've not reached that stage.
You got to get the juju sticks, man.
Yeah. Oh, man. But I did look into the history of Northampton, which is the town I live in. And the history goes back to like 400 BC. And the land that we're on, the farthest I can go back so far, there was some sort of farm on here. And we're on the edge of one of the buildings. But there's been lots of battles fought in Northampton. Lots of the Danes took over at one point. And that we've got a real bloody history that I didn't know about. The house was built in 1976. Do I think we're haunted? No. But it's a lovely tale to tell. And we do have some weird, unexplainable shit going down that you just can't put anything to at the time. In your mind, for example, we had a touch lamp that kept turning itself on. So we just I put it down in my mind to faulty electronics.
Dude, you got a damn goo-goo in your house, man. Get the sticks, go outside, do a little dancing, make them go away,
Yeah. And yeah, so we got things flying off shelves and stuff like that.
Pretty soon you're going to be sleeping and you're going to feel a tap on your shoulder. You look up and you're going to see a Viking there,
Right. The night I'm sleeping and I get a tap on my shoulder or somebody whispers in my ear, that's the day the house gets sold. I'm not one of these silly buggers like in the Amityville horror that's going to sit around for a month. And no, I'll be gone.
It's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me twice.
No. I've seen too many horror films. I know how it ends. Anyway, that's my little tale of the week.
That's pretty interesting, man.
Yeah, I know it's nothing related to
Right,
modeling, but
it's all right. Sometimes you go in that direction. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's really interesting. I find it interesting, so
Sure.
I'll keep you updated.
Hey,
Anyway,
Hey, Gordon. Get the white coats ready, buddy. You're closer. Get the white coats ready.
yeah.
I'm only 3/4 of an hour away.
There you go.
So, so we've got. Let's get straight into what we've been working on this week. I went first last week, so Gil, you haven't been first for a while.
I have. I've been working this week. I finished 2 commission figures. They're gone, and now I'm working on this. I'm doing a commissioned Bradley. I don't do a lot of armor, and I was kind of, but I couldn't pass this up because for many reasons. But I'm doing a commission build of the old M2 Bradley from Tamiya. Now, I built it all up, and now I'm at the painting stage. So I primed it. This is the primer. This is the old where's the box? This is this guy right here. It's the old Tamiya M2. So I've got it primed, the outer shell primed. I already painted the inner part, the roof. XF21, which is Tamiya XF21, which is the sky color. That's the closest I can get to this funky green that they have inside there, inside these U.S. military vehicles. So I've got the inner part primed. This is not glued down yet because I need to do all the weathering and all the detail painting and decals and stuff. So that's the inner part. I've got the pieces all in here and another piece there. The part that I really despise about Tamiya, I love their stuff. This one here, again, it was an older kit, so there was some work I had to do, like here. Like right in here. I don't know if you could see. Well, you can't see them. Well, maybe if you look close enough, you'll see it. The light. Sorry about that. But right up underneath that sprocket, they have that big gap in there where you could put that motor in there. So I had to go in there and fill all that, and right in here, I had to use strip styrene to cover all that up, putty it, sand it down to make it smooth so you can't see them. Same thing with the sides right in here, in there. They have that little channel in there. I had to fill all that in. So yeah, that's coming along. What I despise the most about Tamiya is these things, these rubber tracks. I don't like them. They're junk. So I don't know if I'm going to end up going with some Furl tracks. I don't know yet. It's a commission build, so if he's willing to pay for them, then I'll pick them up. If not, then I'll make those ones. But that's what I'm doing. Just trying to finish off some of these things here that I have. Clear this so I can clean everything up and then start back to I want to do a car. So I've got the car from the show Supernatural. I put that in the room. I'm sorry, I should have had it here. I've got that. I've got a few other things I want to do. I want to get into a few sci-fi. I've got a big Dreamforge Titan that I need to paint. I've got the decals in there that I got from what the heck? What's his name? Ronnie Gamble. I always forget the name of his.
Fallout Hobbies.
Fallout Hobbies. You're right. I was thinking of the game. For some reason, I always forget the name of the damn place, but it's Fallout Hobbies. I picked up some decals for the salamanders, Warhammer, the salamanders. I like that. So that's the theme I'm going to go with that one. So I might work on that one after this. But that's it. That's what I got. That's it.
Excellent. And how much, just out of curiosity, because how much are them for all tracks? Because they're not cheap, are they?
Well, I bought some for King Tiger, that I still need to finish. And I believe I paid about $60 US for them. I believe somewhere around there. It might have been a little less, might have been a little bit more, but it was right around. It was more than $50 for the tracks. I can tell you.
Yeah.
I don't. I haven't looked yet. I know they make tracks for this. I've seen them. I just don't. I haven't priced them yet. I'll just have to ask Brett over at High Altitude Hobbies if he can get them for me. But they shouldn't be any more than $35 to $40, somewhere around there, and it'll add.
Right.
It will add to the build. I mean, again, it's a commission build, so if he wants it, I got no problem doing it. I mean, I don't like doing them, but I got no problem doing them. I think it will add to it because those rubber tracks, I'd rather just toss those in the garbage. You know, they're junk. I can make them look good. They're just, to me, they're junk. That's the worst part of it to be a kid is those damn rubber tracks. But other than that,
now I'm not a big tank builder. I've only built one tank, in fact, I believe. And after building that, I love the idea of rubber tracks because it was such a nightmare.
Oh, did you do the Frual tracks on them? Or
no, it was a men kit.
Oh, the link tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really, I was so frustrated with them. Pieces kept falling off.
You know, I enjoy doing. I enjoy the process of doing them. You know, you throw them in your solution, you let them rust up, and then all that. I enjoy the process of. What I don't like is having to drill out everything because you have to drill with the Frual tracks at least. You have to go in there, you know, because they're not. You have to drill the holes. I mean, the holes are there, but you have to open them up. So you're going in there and you're drilling individual holes in each track.
Oh no, that's
put the pins in and all that. Now I don't mind doing it. It's actually once you start putting them together, it's actually for me therapeutic because I just throw some music on, sit them down here, and I'm linking them.
Yeah,
it's the drilling, man. Every now and then you miss it, the drill goes right through your fingertips. It's like
oh no.
But yeah, I mean I don't mind doing them. I mean it's a long process, but it adds to the build in the end.
Yeah. So, well, there we go. So that's Gil. Now I know somebody's been a good boy and got lots of sparkling new models to show us. And I know he's really eager. He's chomping at the bit to show us these new kits. So, I don't know. Should I make him wait and go to Gordon? No. Josh, you're up. I'm going to bring you up on the screen. Show you. He's got some really good stuff, and
okay,
there you go. It's all yours.
So this is what I've been working on this week. I took this kit and then got car.
Cool.
So that's kind of what I worked on. This is going to be like a airbrushing, just kind of like a palette kind of thing. But next Friday, I'm taking one of the Gen Con classes, so I got a figure.
Nice.
I'm taking the face and eyes class. So
all right.
Is that one by Lynn?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And then I got this.
Towel.
Some of these are going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, the towel makes there's some cool stuff. Yeah.
I want to get one of the bigger ones, but they're too much for.
Too expensive.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
I can't. You know. And then I got this guy.
Oh, so it came in.
Yeah, it yeah. I got that.
Now that came in from the UK, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I got this guy.
You ended up getting the Indomitus, huh?
Dude, okay, so online they're selling these for about $200.
Right.
I found this yesterday for $165.
Good.
So I was like, nope, I'm gonna go get me one. And then I also they have the new paints that go with this set. And I got I didn't bring it out here with me, but it's the glowing green for the joints and stuff.
Yeah.
In the Necrons. And then I also got
The
Oh,
Yeah,
Space Marines.
Cool.
And then because they're doing the 9th edition promos and stuff, they've got like they gave these out for free.
Nice.
So I grabbed a couple of these.
Yeah.
Just promotional stuff.
Yeah. That was at your local shop, right?
Yeah, one of them, yeah. The cool one, they have these pictures that you can collect. There's like a group of 5. But I really maybe that.
Yeah, they call them postcards over here. Postcard pictures.
But just some of the artwork on some of these is just like that one. I really like that one.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Primus Marine.
Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, some of these.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of these. Like I try to get some of the artwork because I think that's a funeral scene.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I just
Nice.
I'm not qualified to comment on what they are. They're beautiful pictures. There's no doubt.
And then I don't know. This was like a comic book.
You know what? I always find that Warhammer products, their magazines, their leaflets, whatever they do, they always put so much effort into the artwork. They're always packed with stunning visual content. It's almost like your eyes don't know where to look first.
And it's a shame, man. It's a shame they haven't put out like a few features of this, because the lore is just, if you read the books, which I have, I don't play the game, but I have a lot of their figures, and I got into it by reading the novels.
Yeah.
And to me, there's one novel that's because I like the Blood Angels, but there's one book. It's called Hell's Reach. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I keep rereading that book. I love it. You know. But anyway, go ahead, Josh.
So the last thing I've got here is this guy.
Hey, I've seen them sprue kits.
Where'd you find that? I need to get some of those for my grandson.
So here's the thing. On Amazon, they have all of these. But at that shop that they had the Adana, the big box set, the new one, they had all three. They had Rafton and Michelangelo, and they're about $10.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
If you can find Leonardo for under $100, buy it, because
really
I can't find it.
What that kit you're holding there? If you get Leonardo, it's $100.
Yeah, I can't. I haven't found it under $100 yet.
Leonardo's very, very sought after. Yeah, and you got all these collectors that are scooping them up, and those are made for like kids and stuff, and kids can't even put their hands on them. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at the back, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look at this. I mean, it's only like 6 parts, but you know,
I'm gonna have to see if Brett can find those for me.
Would any of us here? How many of us here would pay $100? We'll call it $100 or £100 for that.
Never
for Leonardo.
Not for that. No.
If it was a 1/6 scale or a 1/8 scale, then yeah.
Yeah.
For that little sprue kit, it's only about that big when you build it.
Nice.
What, 2-3 inches, Josh?
I could go get one of the other ones my son's made, but
but it should say there the length. I mean, looking at it, it looks like it's only about 2 to 3 inches tall.
4 inches.
Okay, 4 inches. There's no way I'm paying $400. There's no way I'm paying $100 for a 4-inch. No.
The most I would do is probably $25.
I wouldn't even do that.
And that would be like a real push. I would.
You'd have to catch me after a bottle of whiskey, man, to pay that. Nope, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't pay that. Not for.
For a $10 kit. Nope, ain't gonna happen.
To be honest, for if it's worth £10, I would be I would be looking at £3-4.
Yeah.
I don't care how popular it is.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen.
And they have all different kinds of subjects too. That I think the Batman one I paid like close to 20, but
Yeah.
it was actually a level 3, I think, or maybe a level 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. My son likes to put them together, so
it's different if you've got somebody in the house that's really passionate about them and really loves them. Then yeah, you might go a bit more and pay a bit more. But if you've got no interest in them, and then no. But there we go. Anything else, Josh?
No, that was it.
We got a bit of lip sync issue going on there. So, okay. Thank you very much, Josh. So we'll move on now to Gordon, and he's going to show us what he's been working on this week. Ooh. Very nice.
A tornado.
Nice.
Done quite a bit. And this time, it's now on its undercarriage. I've masked off, repainted all the undercarriage bays, repainted all the wheels, undercarriage doors, got all them on, sealed the back end.
Yeah.
So that's all sealed. The engines are on. And I've uncovered the cockpit because I am working on the ejector seats at the minute.
All right.
Are those
Bang seats.
Are they new ones or are they the old ones stripped down?
These are quick boost. Quick boost 32nd scale resin ejector seats, the Tornado GR1 with the seat belts on them.
But were they already in there, or are these new ones you've bought?
No, these are aftermarket. These are resin seats.
Yeah, I know that. But what I'm saying is, were they already in there, or are these the ones you've took out? Have you took them out and stripped them down?
No,
Or
I bought the seats that were originally in it were the kit ones.
Oh, right. So, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I've popped the kit ones out because the detail's not there.
Yeah.
I bought myself a couple of aftermarket ones.
Excellent.
So
yeah.
I base coated them. I've been doing a bit of bomb graffiti.
Nice. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
nice, dude?
Yeah, very nice. Is that Declan or is that just...
It's a Chinagraph pencil.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, I love it.
Working on the Hindenburg fuel tanks.
Nice.
I've got all them done. And the Boss pod's all nicely finished now. Oh, Sky Shadow pod, should I say. That's all done. And the Boss pod, the flare dispenser.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's come out well. What most of you don't have the luxury of, I saw the original kit when Gordon brought it in. Most of you won't have seen it, but I remember when he took it off the display and he brought it in and he showed us all this kit, and it was like a pinkish Tornado, and he said he was going to revamp it. He was going to redo it all, clean it up. And I only wish that you could all see that and see it against his new build, because there's such a huge difference.
Yeah, well, the thing was with it, when it first came out, you couldn't buy desert pink paint. So it originally got painted in, I think it was a Tamiya paint. They're pink that Tamiya do with some desert sand put in it to tone it down. But it was definitely pink and it was too bright. So
Yeah.
it got redone. But I've done a couple of little jobs on these two. Right, they're quite nice, quite shiny still at the minute, because what I've done with these, I've put a buff oil wash all over it. So when it's thoroughly dry, because I'm trying to watch how I'm handling them because it's still a bit tacky. A buff oil wash over them, mainly on the top. I've done a little bit underneath, round by where you get the prop wash and off the undercarriage base, off the wheels and stuff. And when that dries, it should leave me with a nice dusty effect.
Yeah.
So I've put that one on that one, and I've done similar sort of thing on this, but you can just about see it there in the wing root. This one, instead of being a buff wash, I've put a dark earth wash on it. And down this side, I've put it a little bit thicker because that's where they climb up and get in.
Yeah.
So that would be mud prints off his boots. And I've got to let that dry for a week, and then I shall matte coat it and then get these two finished off, because it's taking a bit, because it's like, you'll know yourself, Gil, and the other guys, when you're working with oils, right, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
And then you've got to let it dry.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you end up either loosening it all up and making the right pig's ear of it, or you end up putting your thumbprint in it. Nah, that'll do. Let's put it up, let it dry. So I've sat tinkering with that. And while I've got them two oils out, I've done a very faint one on this Sherman as well, because he's going to be Thunderbolt 7, right? You can just see it's just got a slight hint, down the side and on the cheek armor here.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a bit selective where I've not gone over the whole thing. I've just basically put it where you'd have splashes, and a little bit round the back, and a little bit under the front here where you'd get the coming off the wheels. But that's had the same sort of thing, but I've not gone over the whole lot with that. I've just gone basically down the sides. So it's waiting for oil paints again. So that's what I've been on with at the minute.
Excellent. It's really good.
Nice stuff there, Gordon.
Yeah, very nice. So that leaves me. So just bear with me 1 second while we go there. And I will get my stuff down, and we go to me. Okay. Right. Let me try and move that. Can you still hear me with that microphone there?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I've only done two things this week, one of which I am so exceptionally proud of. I would say that this has been my best car build to date. It's not quite finished, but I'm going to show you it. I took some photos of it and noticed, because I'd wiped it down with some kitchen roll, there's lots of little fibres on it. So they need removing, and there's a slight mark on the roof that needs a respray on the top. But apart from that, I'm just going to bring this over. And this was a real dog of a kit. But this is the Rolls-Royce Continental that I built.
What kit was that?
It was a Revel 1, I think it was 1/9. Revel 1/9 Rolls-Royce Continental.
Okay.
The light's a little bit bright, So, I'm just trying to get it at the best angle I can, really.
Looks good, though. Looks really good.
It's nice, yeah.
Then you've got the
I know
tool.
you said it was a dog of a kit, but I'm looking at that thinking maybe that's something I'd like to build.
There's the
Put a lot of
tools.
hard work into that.
Yeah, no, I know he put a lot of work into it. Yep.
There's the toolkit in the back. That took me a while. If I can get it to focus, I don't know.
No, we can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Looks good.
Yeah, and we come round. I'm so pleased with it. Even down to the tortoise shell that I put on the dashboard and on the bottom of the seats.
Nice.
I'd literally just got a photo of tortoise shell to work off.
That a left-side drive.
The acrylic window that I had to replace the existing window because it just weren't good enough. And you can see it is there.
That is you did a nice job on it considering all the work you did to it.
Yeah, but there's the mark that I was on about. That's
easy. You could fix that easily.
Yeah, that's easy fix. And unfortunately, I'd finished this, but when I've took the photos, on the photos, you know how accurate they are. You can see tiny little fibers all the way up the wings.
You know what you need? You know what you should do, Mark? If you're going to do something, you're going to wipe something down like that. Get yourself like a baby's diaper or a microfiber cloth.
Yeah.
Don't use the kitchen roll on there because you can scratch the paint with the kitchen roll.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Get yourself just order some. You can get them on Amazon or wherever. Just a baby's diaper.
Yeah. But that's and that's it from the top. It's a big kit.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice looking kit though.
And
I know you put a lot of work into that damn thing.
Yeah, I'm so proud of it. I really am. And now I've started on the FW. I've got to get this right. I always get these numbers mixed up. It's the 190A. Always get it mixed up between the 190 and the 109. I was a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, sent me this kit, but I haven't got very far at the moment. Just the seat and the lighting in here is dreadful.
So what is that, Mark? Is that a bomber or is that a jet?
I was going to say it's a cockpit, Josh. I
can literally reach through the screen now and slap you.
Yeah. I can't help myself sometimes. It's a fighter.
The box, Andy.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's a night fighter. So that's the kit. I'm not good. I can't tip it up because all the screws.
No, that's fine. Yeah, you can see it.
No, that's perfect.
And there we go. I've shut the lid. So there we go.
I don't know all the jet, cargo planes. I don't know all the numbers. So
yeah. So it's an FW190A8 A8-R11 night fighter for anyone that's short of sight or anything. That's what we're looking at. The kit number for this is 03926. It's a 132nd kit. It's quite a size for its era. 174 parts, 28.2 centimeters wide, and 32. No, I'm not sure whether that's width or length. Never get them. Them numbers always get mixed up. But there we go. That's it. If we turn around the back, we've got the light in his.
No, we can see it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. You get your color callouts on the bottom there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very, very nice kit. It's a recent tool, 2015. So it was tooled in 2015. It shows it's not shabby. There's not a lot of flash on it. In fact, I don't think I've seen any flash so far. I've just I know a lot of people are going to probably roll their eyes, and we might lose 6 viewers in a minute. But I sprayed them on the sprue, primed. I primed them on the sprue, and there we go.
Why would you lose viewers if you primed it on the sprue?
Oh, you know as well as I do that there's so.
You know, I've never been able to do that. It just, for me, I can see why people do it.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always been it's like, why would I do that? And then I start thinking about when I got to sit down and prime all these parts. I got to have little clips here and there and everything all clipped. But I'm one of those that likes to take everything off, sand them down. You know, like say like this.
Yeah.
You know, like little pieces, like say this. You know, and
I find honestly, Gil, I find with more modern kits, it's easier to spray on the sprue because
if it works for you, man. I mean,
they sort of allow for it. They put, if you get a good company, they put their pins in places where it's not a big issue. Where when you come to glue them together, you can scrape off the area, and it's not in an area that's seen. Older kits, it's more of a problem because yes, you've got to clean the part off where you know.
Yeah. I'm just used to taking everything off of there and using little clips like this. But what if it works for you, man? God bless you.
But not everyone is like you, as you well know. There are certain people now that will have put me on some blacklist, and they're probably creating a little doll as we speak.
Well,
yeah. Because you paint on the sprue.
Yeah. Not long ago, there was loads of arguments about it. I remember going into groups and thinking, and seeing comments, "Oh, you paint on the sprue," and
well, it's like little bitty things like this is a little seat. Now I can see somebody painting those pieces on the sprue. I can see that. For me, like I say, my preference is to take them apart, and then I use something like this because I'm in there. I'm not a big brush painter, so I'll go in there with an airbrush. And that's what I did with this. Went in there with an airbrush. Now it's not done. I still got to paint the seats. That'll be done with a brush. But I can see people. I know a lot of guys that'll take this. They do this. They got the sprue.
Yeah.
You got all the little pieces on there. Do the little thing. Nip them off. Put them on. No problem.
Let me just clarify. I only prime on a sprue.
Oh no! I realize what you're saying. I'm just saying a lot of people will do it another way, and that's fine.
I do all the priming on the sprue. All the actual painting gets done. I clip each piece off, and then any painting gets done.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've done that. I've primed on the sprue.
I don't really paint on the sprue. Occasionally, I might do if the piece is so small and I can't hold it.
Well, yeah.
I might paint on the sprue, but
I got little pieces here that I got to put on, and I'm gonna prime on that sprue.
Yeah. So,
especially the grab angles with that kit, yeah.
Oh God, yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not even because those things end up going pew pew everywhere. So no, I'm not. I'm gonna do whatever's the easiest, and the easiest for me is if I gotta prime those things, they're primed on the sprue, and then I'll worry about them later.
So there we go. That's what we've been working on this week.
Hey, Mark, Dave Price says that's it. I'm off spraying on the sprue indeed.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, he's been with me in some of these situations where people have like, we've been in the same forum, and it's just some people's attitudes are incredible. I'm just going to say incredible, and leave it at that.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's what we've been working on this week. We're gonna now, Gordon, you ready to do your?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gordon's going to do. We're going to look at another little kit review, and then after that, I think we're going to be looking at primers, and we're going to be, looking at the best way to do primers, and so on. So you want to stay tuned for that, because that's going to be interesting, and we're going to. Well, I'm certainly going to learn a lot of stuff from it, because I always get confused when it comes to primers. Hopefully, there'll be some information there for me. There we go. Anyway, it's over to you, Gordon, and your review.
Right, guys. Well, what we've got here is the Airfix new tooled. Well, I say new tooled. It is a new tool, but this is a reboxing of the Hurricane Mark 1 to celebrate the Battle of Britain. Usual Airfix stuff, but one thing that we have got on here, look, guys. Cartograph decals.
Cartograph decals, yep.
Woohoo! Yeah. And there, is he going to focus?
It may not, because it's white, Gordon.
Yeah, well, they're basically your two colour options. So, yeah, let's. Here we are. Lovely cartograph decals, lovely. And colour densities, well, the cartograph, what can I say?
Yeah.
They're spot on. They're not too shiny. The carrier film, it's like you've got the R, the F here. You've only got a bit of carrier film down the middle and in the centre of the R. It's been trimmed right close up to the letters and stuff. And they're really good. I love them because these are the same decals as I put on the spit. They're by Cartograph as well. And they went down perfect. So Airfix definitely up the game with that. So upper wing. In the usual Airfix softish plastic. Nice raised detail around all the Zeus fasteners, around the gun ports. Let's see. Now, I have to have a play with this camera afterwards. Single piece elevators for the back. And when I first opened this, I looked at this lot underneath. I thought, well, what's all this lot? Well, look, you've got all these injector pin marks. And then when I went through the instructions, you actually score through these and open up the gun bays. So you score around them, pop them out, and you can actually open the gun bays up, because you actually get the machine gun feeds and the ammo belts and stuff inside as well. Lower wing. Let's get it back a bit. There we go. Nice fine panel lines. Take a nice bit of wash, that will. And on the inside, look, you can actually see the mounts, the troughs, the clips for your machine guns and your ammo belts. Right, bit of a wing spar there. Goes through the fuselage. That's part of the undercarriage bay. See if I can get a nice bit of detail on that. You can either build it with the undercarriage down, so you get full undercarriage legs and tyres and stuff, or you can just put the tyre on a flat, where you only get put half of it on. And you can build it with undercarriage up as well. So you can do it in flight. So that's that. Nice bit of radiator detail on the radiators. Nice recessed detail on the instrument panel. You do get one or two parts for different versions because you get the tropical filter for the desert one as well. Right. 2 different sizes of tyres. One's a bit more bulbous than the other. 2 different types of nose probe spinner. Pointy one and the rounded one. Airfix's legendary pilot. You actually get the
Uh-oh. We losing them?
seat wheel hub detail, tail wheel, and there we have all your machine guns. So they build up.
Nice.
And you get the ammo boxes and stuff as well. And there's your ammo boxes.
Yeah.
Right? And if you decide to do it with the gun bays open, you actually get spare doors to go over the top as well.
Oh, right. So I thought of that and all.
Yeah. So the only thing that spoils it, you've got 2 dirty ejector pin marks in the middle of them, but they're easily taken care of. But it's a lovely kit. And then we've got 2 different types of prop. You've got the thin, slim one, and I think one's a Doughty Rotol. I think that's what that one is. I can't quite remember. The tubular framing builds the cockpit up because it was like the Hurricane was a tubular frame with the front part of the fuselage from there forward was metal skin, and then from the back it was fabric. But you see some of the Hurricane kits where the textured, the fabric detail on the back is a little bit too overdone, but that is really, I don't know if it's going to show up on, I'll put my hand behind it. It's really supple, and you get, if you know your Hurricanes and stuff, you can actually build 3 different versions out of this. So you can do the Battle of Britain, you can do a Tropical Mark 1, and if you put that in with the arrestor hook, you can actually do a Sea Hurricane Mark 1 as well. So, it's quite a nice kit. Kit parts. Where's my knife? Kit parts. Clear parts. You get 2 different types of canopy, right? One is for if you want to display the aircraft with the canopy open. Another one's for closed, right?
Yeah.
Because one is a little bit wider at the bottom end here.
Yeah.
Then I don't know if you can see that one is a little bit wider at the bottom than this one is. So a little bit narrower. And that's the one that goes on if you're going to do the kind of canopy closed. But they're lovely and clear, right? You've got the gun sight and you've got the landing light covers and the actual landing lights. They're crystal clear. And it's fixed new type instructions. So
I do like their new type.
Yeah, they've definitely upped the game with the new type instructions. 3-part seat, fastens to the rear armor plate. Then you build up the main spar and the framework that goes inside to make the cockpit. Floor panel with the tread boards goes on, because I like how it shows you the part that you've got. Like that part is in grey. You've just assembled that, and then it shows you here in red because that's from the previous step, right? And the amount of detail that's in it. And you build it all into the bottom wing.
Nice.
So you actually build the cockpit framework up, mount it to the lower wing, build your guns up, put the ammo boxes in, side walls.
Oh, wow.
In there, yeah. And you get that both sides. It's both sides. So that's the left wing, that's the right wing. So they're both the same. All right. Then you sandwich the wings together. All right.
Wow.
And that's if you go to display them open to show all that lovely detail that's in there.
And that's a 1/72nd kit.
No, it's the 48 scale one.
That's the 48 scale. Wow, there's a load of detail there, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. You got the 5 bulkhead instrument panel, which is a decal, which isn't too bad on the decal sheet. Right. Fuselage joins together. Fuselage to the wings. And look at the detail that's in there.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Then you've got the different types underneath. Now, if you don't use part C3 and you put the one with the arrestor hook on, you can make the Sea Hurricane, right? If you don't put that on and you put the tropical filter on, you can make the desertized Hurricane, right? Flaps are positionable. They're all separate. Same with the tail planes and the rudder. You can position them all. And you've got a 4 or 5 part radiator with the flap at the back that's positionable as well. Oil cooler radiator. Undercarriage up. Nice and simple. The half tires with the undercarriage doors. And then you've got the standard legs that goes in, and you've got the rams both sides. Then you've got the hubs, the tires, the doors, the pitot, the stirrup, part that puts his foot in, light underneath, exhaust, prop, gun sight. And this is where he tells you with the 2 different types of canopy look. The fronts are the same, but open canopy is E7, closed canopy is E2. So it sits in, then it's nav lights, landing lights. There's your gun covers that you get, so you can display them on the tops of the wings, and that's basically the kit. Then you've got that's option number 1. Polish Squadron, 303 Squadron. And then you've got the one that I'm going to be doing, because I've built his the Airfix Spitfire, the 24 scale one. And I've done it as Ian Gleed's Spit in the desert. And this is his Battle of Britain aircraft.
Nice.
Right. Chemical patch, nice bit of red spinner, bit of a red flash on there, and basically, I think this is not the beginning of the Battle of Britain. It was a few months in, where they lost the silver and the black and white underneath, and they all went to sky.
Yeah,
it's a cracking kit.
I'm interested. Sorry, carry on.
It's a cracking kit, and I've actually got the Italeri Mark 1 as well, right? And a bit later on, I'll do a review of that as well, so we can compare the two. But at the minute, for me, hands down, if I want a Mark 1 Hurricane at the minute in 48 scale, I go for the new Tool Airfix one.
And where do you recommend going for that?
For the kit, you can find them on eBay. They vary from 20 quid, 25 quid up to £30 and
When
stuff.
did you get yours?
When did I get mine? I got it off my mate has got a model shop.
Oh, right. Where's that?
Yeah, I got it off Mike at Clifton Curios in Ashby. I got it. I actually got it just before lockdown. So this was going to be one of my lockdown builds, but I drug the Tornado out and did that instead. But yeah, I got it off Mike, and I think I paid 25 quid for it. But he has got a website. It's called Clifton Curios, right? And it's a proper bricks and mortar model shop. If you want anything, don't go on the internet and order stuff off him because he doesn't do it. If you want paints, glues, kits, anything, you go and take his hand. You go into the shop, right? And he's only got a little shop, but the amount of stock he's got in there is unreal, right? And if there's something that you haven't got, he hasn't got that you want, he can get it for you within a week. So if you go and see him on a Saturday, he's got it for you by the following Saturday. He's open at the minute, but with all this that's cracking off at the moment, he's not open on a Sunday anymore. He's open on a Friday and a Saturday. I think it's 9 till 4, 9 till 5. And he's open on a Monday from, I think it's 9 till 4 o'clock on a Monday. But with everything that's cracking off at the moment, it's same as he said, it's not worth him opening 5 days a week because people just aren't about. So he dropped the Sunday. He's open Monday, Friday, and Saturday. But he's. I went over the other day because I actually picked some stuff up for you, didn't I, Mark?
Yeah.
He's just had a delivery of Bandai stuff. He's got the what's it? The Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon, X-Wing, Y-Wing, the 2 TIE Fighters, Darth Vaders and the standard one, a B-Wing. What else has he got? Snowspeeder, AT-AT, the Chicken Walker, and he's got, I think he's got C-3PO, R2-D2, Darth Vader, what was the other one? The Stormtrooper. And he turned around and says if they sell, he'll get some more in because this is part one of his Bandai delivery. Because basically he's ordered one of each Bandai kit. And
right.
That's what he's doing at the minute. He's just branched out into doing the Bandai Star Wars stuff.
Excellent. So there you go. If you want anything Bandai, that's the, go and see that guy. There's obviously other places you can go as well. But if you want to support bricks and mortar, you can go and see Mike over at Clifton Curios. If you're further north, you've always got Mike Jolly as well, who's that's the guy I normally buy my stuff from. Anyway, there we go. So with that said, we're now going to move on to our topic of the week. And I just want to say that
it's the camera, Mark.
Oh, I'm going to do it one week. I'm going to get it right the whole night. Every week at some point I forget the camera. Sorry,
you've just got it on yourself at the minute.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Because he likes himself.
Yeah, I do like myself. Yeah.
All right, this is turning creepy.
Yeah. I just think the fan blowing the long hair.
You're not making it better, Mark.
Little Fabio.
Yeah,
It's been a long time since you had long hair.
yeah. I don't think I've ever had long hair actually. Anyway, I digress. Yes, so we're going to move on to primers. Now, this is a subject that I've always had an issue with. There's so many primers out there, and let's face it, not all of them are great. Some of them are very much below par. Others are very good, and there's one in particular that everyone seems to try to aspire to be, in my opinion, because primers are very much an opinion-based product, and to me, Badger primers are probably some of the best. I also use automotive primers. I mainly use because I can get them cheap. I love Badger primers, but don't get me wrong. But it's how much is Badger primers at the moment? They're not that expensive.
No, it depends where you're at. It depends. Like you're in the UK, I think.
Yeah.
I think you there's Barwell's. You can get them from Barwell's.
Yeah.
You can also, now I know you're not going to want to hear this, Mark, but you can also get it from UMP. They label theirs. That's Stylorez.
No, that's fine. And yeah, you can get them from UMP. They're basically Badgers.
It's just rebranded Stylorez UMP.
Yeah. But it's the same stuff. Don't worry.
Yeah, it is. It's just great stuff. Yeah.
So if you buy something from UMP, if you buy their primer, don't worry if it is Badger stuff. It's Badger stuff.
Yeah, like Dave says here in the thing, he gets his from Barwell's. So
yeah.
Well, Barwell, the Barwell guy is about 10 miles up the road from me, but Mig do it in their one shot as well, don't they?
Yeah, Mig's
that's what I was just about to say. Mig do it as well.
Yeah, Mig one is also Stylorez. Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you, I don't really know a lot about primer. I know how to use it, and I know the different things you've got to do. But rather than have some half-arsed fool try and explain it to you, I'm going to hand it over to somebody that knows a little bit more about it than I do. Well, they know fucking a lot more about it than I do. And that would be you, Gil. You.
Like everybody else, look, I have an automotive background,
Yeah.
Many years ago. And automotive primer is some of the best you can get. That bar none, it's some of the best you can get. You can get it in like Josh, I think you have a can of it. You can get it in a can like that there. And what you do is you take it out, you thin it, you shoot it. That's that, you can get it like that here in the States. I'm sure you can do that in the UK. Or you can get it in a rattle can. Now, before we get to that, there are a lot of primers out there, guys. Everybody has a preference on what they want to use. Anything from MIG all the way up to automotive primers. Now, me personally, I've gone with plastic. I've gone that whole gamut of it. And when I got into the doing models, I had automotive primer, but because I was doing it upstairs in a spare bedroom, and I had a small extractor, and I didn't want to go outside and have to spray this stuff, I picked up this stuff. This is, Vallejo's. And I had all of them. I had all the colors. And I quickly learned that stuff is not good for the models we do. And the reason I say that are twofold. Number one, the older, they changed the formula. They had to, because the original stuff was good, but it wasn't great. It tends to, you can't sand it, number one. And I don't care what anybody tells me. I sand it all the time. You're lying. You cannot sand Vallejo primer. It'll end up peeling. You'll end up getting like a little, It'll roll,
Yeah.
on you, it'll peel on you.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, you got a model, say something like this here. Oh, look at that, it's great. Now you go to mask it off. Now, this happens with automotive primer too. So there's a myth about that. Oh, the corners will not peel on automotive primer. That's bullshit. Yes, excuse me. That's bull. Yes, it will peel on sharp edges if you're not careful. You know, all primers will peel. You just got to be careful. When you rip the tape off, there's a certain way you take the tape off. You don't just go whoop. You got to go on an angle and slowly take it off. You know, so you don't peel. You don't peel from the corners, because I've seen great automotive paint primer peel. Problem with Vallejo primer is when you go to peel it, it doesn't matter if it's on a flat surface. You're taking a big chunk of it off. Happened to me many times. It ended up happening with that Vallejo primer. It went in the bin. I won't use it. I won't use it on something like this because there's going to be a lot of masking on this. So I didn't. You know, I'm freehanding a lot of stuff on this. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to butt in. Sorry for being rude, but
No.
I have one question related to Vallejo that I really wanted to ask. And Vallejo's a big company. So they've got lots of people working for them. Now, everybody out there, with the minor few, agree that Vallejo primer is very bad. It doesn't work very well. It's got all these issues. Why have they not? They must know. As a company, they must know their reputation is in tatters.
Well, here, their paints, they make great paints. I love their paints. I mean, I've got hundreds of them. I love their paints. Their primer is a subpar primer. Now here, this is what I hear a lot of when you go on forums. I use Vallejo primer and I never have a problem. Okay, that's good. And then they give you the formula how they're using it. You know, it's at least here in the States. Oh, I add future to it so it'll stick. Why are you having to add something to a primer? A primer is something that should bite into the substrate. So why are you using all this voodoo to make a primer that should work right out of the bottle? So I don't get it. Now I understand if I'm doing 28 mil figures or if I'm doing a terrain, that's what I use it for because it's cheap. I can spray it down, let it sit for a couple of days, and then I'll come over and I'll hit it with a gloss coat or a dull coat, whatever, to seal it. But I'm not going through all that nonsense. You know, I mean, most of us that work on armor, planes, whatever, you don't want to go through all that voodoo and chemistry to make something like this work. Now, if it works for you, God bless you. But you haven't tried what's good out there. And I'll get to that. You also have this stuff, and this has been around for a long time. This is Tamiya surface primer. Great primer. Great primer. But it costs a lot. Here in the States, I buy a bottle of this, a can of this, and I'm paying about $8 to $9 for this can. And I'm not getting a lot of usage out of this little bitty can. Now, I love the stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's a great primer. But I don't use it as much as I used to. About 6 years ago, Ken, we were at I think it was the Adepticon. It's a big war gaming convention here. And Ken, I walked up to Ken, and he was selling this product. And he says, "Hey, Gilbert, come here. Look at this." And he said, "I want you to try this." So he gave me 3 little bottles of this stuff. And he said, "This is probably the best primer you're ever going to use." And I told him, "Ken, that's a lot of bullshit. You know, I'm trying to be frank here and excuse my language." I said,
No, it's okay.
I told him, "That's a bold statement." He said, "Try it. Get back to me." I came home that night. I was doing we used to do Google Hangouts at the time. And in a Hangout, there was, I don't know, 10, 15 people in there. I took the white. Now, a lot of people say they can't shoot that. I have no problem with it. But I found a way to shoot it, and I'll explain that in a minute. So I took the white, and I shot it on I think it was a model car. And I just posted the picture on Styrene Syndicate of that model car. It's about 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago, around there. So I shot it on that car and laid down gorgeous. I hit it with a blow dryer, and then I went to sand it. Now, you shouldn't do that. You should give it at least 14 to 24 hours, any primer, to cure. But I hit it. After about 10 minutes, I went over it with a sand, and it did not. It was sandable. It was great, and I was in love with it. From that moment on, I used it. This stuff right here, this Badger Styrene, if you can get it, it's not the best out there, but this is quite possibly the best water-based primer money can buy. This stuff is sandable. I've got it on this kit right here. My fingernail. I don't know. I'm scratching at it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Look at that. Now you see a little buff mark in there, but it didn't come off. Now this was primed last night. I left it overnight. There it is. I can sand on this. I can do whatever. Will it peel on me? Now that's the other thing. If you got something that you primed and you go to peel, this is the worst thing you can do, is going this way with it. You want to go on an angle like this. Oh, let me see. You want to go on an angle and peel it off slowly.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Because if you don't do that, what you're doing is you're just ripping at it. So you have to go on an angle. You go on an angle and slowly peel that tape off. And it doesn't matter if it's paint that you're trying to cut, protect, whatever. That's something you should always get into, is just slowly on an angle peel that tape off. Never go straight across just on an angle. But this stuff is quite possibly the best stuff you can get if you're going to shoot it through an airbrush. This stuff right here. Or you can brush paint it. It's great shit. Now, if you're doing other people, I use this all the time also. 3D prints, even tanks, whatever, an automotive primer. You cannot beat this. But there's a way to lay this down. You don't flood the model with it. You got to go in there and then lay it down in coats, mists in coats. Because if you lay this down too thick, you're going to end up with some nasty orange peel. So you lay it down in coats. Gordon, you know that. You don't hit it too hard. You got to mist it on there, let it sit a couple of minutes, come back, mist it on there, let it sit a couple of minutes. Yeah. But automotive primer is the best primer you can get. So
you're decanting that?
No, I shoot it right out of the can.
Oh, yeah, so you use it right out of the can.
Yeah, I shoot it out of the can.
Because I use mine straight out of the can.
I have decanted it. But if I'm going to do a quick prime job, I'm not going to go through the problem of having to decant. Yeah. I'm just going to shoot it. Boom, boom. I walk out in the garage. I open the doors and just...
Yeah, because I decanted not so long back. In fact, during the COVID thing, and I had a whole. Just trying to think. I basically decanted into something like that. Oh, sorry, you can't see. Let's
see. Put it on you, Mark. Put it back on all of us. What were you talking about? What were you showing?
So I basically decanted into something like that.
Yeah.
And I left the lid off and I decanted. I filled it up to about there, right? And I left it on the ledge outside. And I put my stuff away. I left it for about 20 minutes. I came back. I picked up the jar. And I felt something happening in the jar. It was like a little vibration sort of feeling. And the next thing I knew...
It blew up with the cap off.
Yeah, the cap went off. There was black because I was decanting black. It went everywhere.
Well, here's the problem. Why that happened.
Thought, in fact, Gordon, I think I was in a hangout when it happened.
Yeah.
Mark, the reason that happened was it was degassing, and you don't want to leave the cap on there while you're degassing it. So you want when you decant something like that, let it sit without the cap on. Here's another trick: stick a cocktail, a toothpick, a cocktail stick in there. Just put it in there. It helps. It helps it to move around. Believe it or not, it works.
Yeah. Well, I'd left a hole in it. I had left a hole in it.
That's not going to work, Mark. The reason the little hole is not going to work is because that gas is trying to get out and it's getting out of a little hole. What you did was created more pressure for it, is what you did. Like a teapot. When you're doing the water, it's like a teapot. So leave the cap off. If you decant it, leave the cap off. Don't put the cap on. Let it sit for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. Just let it sit overnight.
Yeah.
Stick a cocktail stick in there when you're decanting it. Let it sit overnight. Come back the next day. There you go. You come back the next day, but you don't put a cap on it because you'll blow that cap right off of it.
I tell you, it went bang. Well, no, it didn't go bang, but it went everywhere. And Gordon will remember this because I was in a hangout at the time. Angela came in later that day, and I said, "Oh, the dog." He walked past the table, wagging his tail, knocked the jar of paint, and it went all over the floor.
Now, what you got there, Josh? What are you showing?
So when I do bigger 3D prints, like really, really big stuff, like Warlord Titan, the Predator, and I want to airbrush it on, I generally get this. For 3 cans of the spray paint, you can buy this.
Yes.
And it's roughly about the same amount you're going to get.
No, you get more in there than you do the 3 cans because you got to remember these cans have an aerosol in there. So you're getting about this much paint, and the rest of it is all your aerosol.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
You're getting more. You're getting bigger bang for your buck when you buy something like that.
But even then, that's the point. By the time you buy 3 cans, which is like $5-6, this was 17.
Yeah,
and I use it through my Posh H.
Well, yeah.
Because that thing will just, and I don't add anything to it. I just
with that you don't have to let it gas out. This you have to let gas out because of the chemicals that are inside that can.
Yeah.
Like what you got there, Gordon?
Simmons.
Right.
Yeah. The U-Paul. Yep.
Yeah.
And I've got the usual stuff. I've got the Alclad. I've got the AK. But my primer of choice every time is either black, white, or grey, right? And it's same as Gilles just said. That is my degassing jar,
Right.
Because I was doing an enterprise, and I wanted a white base, so I got a can of that. Decanted it into it, and just left it on the side like that without the lid on.
Yeah, you cannot put a lid on that when you're decanting it because you're going to blow that jar up. You're going to blow it up.
This is it.
Right.
And if you stick it into a jam jar and you leave the top off and just put it down, let it settle, you can actually sit and watch it bubble.
You can, because of the chemicals that we can. Yes.
Yeah, and it's same with Gilles. Get a cocktail stick or drop a cocktail stick in it, and it helps it degas.
Yes, it helps it degas.
Why do we prime? That's the main. That's what I want to come
Josh,
to.
what are you showing there, Josh? What do you got there?
See, then they also have this stuff.
Yeah.
The paint and primer in one.
Yeah.
And you can actually, that's white, but,
Yeah. Now, the reason you prime, here, I see a lot of, and I see a lot of car guys they say, I don't prime. There's no reason to prime. I paint right over it. But what they're not telling you is they're sanding that model down before they prime it. So you take the model, and you scuff it. You're scuffing it. Very fine. You could use a very fine sandpaper, but you're putting tooth into that plastic. So then when you paint on top of that, that paint has something to grab onto. Now, primer, when you use a primer bites. It's not paint. You know, a lot of people don't chemically. It's chemically different than paint. It's the same family, but it's chemically different. A primer is made to bite into whatever you're putting it into. Give it tooth. Say a plastic model. You shoot automotive primer on it, it bites into the plastic. It's not hurting it, but it's biting into it. I know a lot of guys that do the car paint. You know, oh, my car, the paint peeled on it. Well, did you prime? No. That's why it didn't peel. It peeled.
Primer, same as I've done car body and stuff and minerals and tanks and stuff like yourself, Gil. And I learned off an old car, right? And he turned around and says to me, he says, think of the primer as the glue for the paint.
Exactly.
Right? And I was only, 16, 17 at the time. And I said, oh, that's a silly comment to make. And then when he went into it and explained it to me, what the primer actually does, it's same as you said. If you're using car primer on a kit of any description, it bonds to the surface, it melts the surface slightly, keys into it, and then when you put your paint on, the paint bonds to it better. So your primer is the glue for your paint.
Exactly. Now that and I tell that, well, why do I got to do it? And that's exactly what I tell them. You know, this is, you know, you would not take a 1-to-1 car and just throw paint on it. There's primer underneath there. There's a reason for that primer. That primer is number one to you put a protective coat over whatever you're doing. It bites into the substrate you're using, and when you put your paint on top of that primer, it bites into that primer, not the plastic. Now, can you get away with doing something without priming it? Yeah, but you can't handle it. You know, you're gonna have to go in there and scuff it up. It's like on a metal. If you go to paint metal, you got to scuff it up a little bit. You take a little Scotch-Brite or a fine sandpaper and you scuff it before you put the primer on it, because it's metal. It's not porous. It's metal. The same thing like with something like this here. You know, this thing has been dropped, handled, scratched. I keep putting the pieces back and forth in there. The paint's not coming off, and there's a reason for it, because there's something like you said. There's a glue underneath that paint. You know, so you want to prime. You know, you want to use a primer. You want to use a good primer. I would tell you all, guys, if you're watching, I don't know who's watching, stay away from this stuff if you're doing. If you're going to be doing a lot of masking or a lot of, stuff like, if you're going to be handling it, this stuff will peel on you eventually. Now, I know some people tell me, you got to add some future to it. No, why would I have to add future to a primer? A primer should work right out of the bottle.
But I will say on that product, it's really good for bases.
That's what I said. I use it for terrain and bases. That's all I'll use it for.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I won't use it for anything other than that. Like say these things right here, these rubber tracks. There's no way I'm going to prime it in Vallejo. There's no way I'm priming this in Vallejo, because the Vallejo will come off. It'll come off. I'll either do it like I said, I've got Tamiya, which is a damn good primer, but it's expensive. This stuff here is my go-to. I'll use this. Or if I'm feeling like, lazy and I don't want to clean out an airbrush, I'll use this. These two right here, Stynylrez or automotive primer. I cannot say enough about that. Once you do it, you'll understand why.
Yeah. I use the automotive primer for priming.
Mark, switch the camera.
Yeah. I use the automotive primer for priming all the time, because I can go into the pound shop and I can buy a whole can of automotive primer. Yeah, it's probably not a great standard, but I'm only building a model. I'm not, building a Ferrari or anything like that. And I've just done it today. I've sprayed a whole FW 190 132nd kit with a single can of automotive primer for £1.
Well, here's the other thing. If you're doing a car, you can wet sand the primer.
Yeah. That's another issue.
And you get a beautiful coat if you take the time, you do the sanding, all that stuff. This stuff here, there's no way.
No, absolutely not. And I constantly come up with people that say you're not using it right. You've got to leave it. So I actually that was one of the things I was told. You've got to leave it for a reasonable length of time. Even Vallejo say leave it. So yeah. I did leave it,
and it still peeled out.
I sanded it, and it fell apart.
Here, I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I was doing. Now I've got a big space battleship Yamato that I haven't touched in I don't know how long, and that's been automotive prime. That's sitting in my room. Yeah. I mean, I can go in there and it's been banged around, and there's not a scratch on it. But I had a smaller one, and I primed it in black Vallejo's primer, and I left it alone for about 6 months, maybe longer. So I'm going to paint this thing. And again, I hear people, oh, you didn't pull the tape off right. Well, I know how to pull tape off of primer. So I put the tape down. I was doing the top half gray, the bottom half red, right? I painted the bottom, slowly go to peel the paint off, the tape off, because I had, done the tape. It started to peel along the whole edge of it.
Oh, yeah.
I was so angry, man, because I had spent a whole day painting this thing. I let it, you don't want to leave tape sit too long because that it'll so as soon as you paint, you should go in there and just take it off before So as I'm peeling it, the bottom half where the black was, the black Vallejo was, it peeled all along, and I don't want to hear that. And when people told me that, I was like, you know what? I gave them the one finger salute. Look, this thing sat for months. Well, you should have added future to it. Why should I add future to a primer? Why? There's no reason for me to be doing that. If it's a primer, it should work. And I sanded the model before I did it.
And the thing is, that brings me back to my original question. If I'm so let's say I insult somebody, just me, little old me, nobody knows me really. If I insult somebody on YouTube, you can guarantee they will hear about it, right? All the people that complain about Vallejo, they have got to know. They have got to know that their product is not very good.
I don't think their product was made for what we're using it for. Number one.
Right.
I think I don't know what their thinking is. I mean, I know years ago there was a show here called iHobby, and a friend of mine, Baltazar, and I were there, and I brought it up. I told the guy because it had happened before that show. Oh, you're using it wrong. And I'm like, I know how to paint, man. I mean, I'm a painter. I know how to paint. There's I might know a lot of things, and I'm still learning chemicals and stuff, but I know how to lay down paint. So that was the last time I've ever used it on a build. This stuff here, which is MIG's track primer, I love this stuff because of the color. I love that color. That's probably one of the most perfect rust colors you can get. But even this, this is sometimes a pain in the rear end to spray because sometimes it just doesn't spray right. It's too watery. You got to learn how to spray this. You can't lay it down too quick because it goes everywhere. You got to dust it on. But this stuff is good. If you this older stuff from MIG Ammo, this stuff is good. I don't know if he's changed the formula, but I like this stuff. But my go-to, like I said, is 90% of the time I'm using Styrolist, and I've never had a problem with it. Or automotive primer. I started more automotive primer in the last 6 months on bigger figures, because sometimes I get. You guys have seen me. I can get aggressive with those with oils and stuff. So
Yeah.
I want a tooth underneath that paint, you know. Gordon, what do you say about that?
So it's same as you said. I don't think it's same as you've said, Gil. I don't think it's been designed for what we would use it for.
Uh-huh.
I bought one bottle of it, and I hit exactly the same problem as you did. I think I was doing the Airfix 76L Concorde, and I'd run out of my white primer, a rattle can, and the only white primer I could get because the shops were shut was a bottle of the Vallejo stuff. And I put that on, missed coats, keyed it, left it for days. And then when I came to mask it off to put the blue cheat line down the side, as soon as you start to pull the tape back, it peeled from nose to tail. All right, so I thought, right, that's it. I've done with that stuff. And now, because of mainly what I model now, I just use the automotive rattle cans.
Yeah.
And if it's something that I can get away with, that I can use the can and give it a blast over, I'll do so. If it's something a bit smaller, then I'll decant a bit out and shoot it through the airbrush.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
it keys into the plastic. You can sand it, you can polish it. As of course, just for a little exercise, as I was doing, I actually got it was an Airfix 48 scale Lightning F6, and I wanted to do it nice and polished aluminium. So I think I put about 3 coats of primer on it. Then I polished the primer, right, with the buffing pads, right, micro mesh, right, and it was a great primer, but it was like a mirror. And then when I put my Alclads and my extreme metals on the top, it went down perfectly.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing with Vallejo. And if it peels on you, and you try to cover that up, it ain't gonna happen. You're gonna have that mark where it peeled.
yeah.
You cannot say it. It's. I've never seen anybody able. Now I'm not saying you can't do it, but most of the people I know that tried to sand that down to fix it, they ain't gonna happen because you're just gonna make the situation worse, and you're gonna highlight where that peeled at. Whereas an automotive primer, you can sand that down real smooth, and then just the spot, and hit that spot, and you'll never know it was there. Same thing with Stynylrez. You can sand it down, hit it again, boop, it's gone. You know, you cannot do that with Vallejo.
No, with Vallejo, there's always that edge.
Always, John.
There's no in
Have you had
between.
problems with? There's no in between on it.
No, there's not.
Good.
Believe it or not, these figures from D&D and WizKids and stuff are primed in the Vallejo primer. And it's the only way I use the product now. If there's a seam line and I have to cut it out or, take this mold line out, I will literally repaint this because I'll never get it back to where it was.
Right. It'll never happen.
It's just, but this just out of the package, I can put paint on this now and it's fine. I don't know. Like I was just trying to look up the stuff and it doesn't even say, it says PVC, brass, wood. What was the other one?
What you on about Vallejo now? The stuff.
Yeah. See those figures that he just showed, those weird stuff, they are primed, and the D&D ones, they are primed in Vallejo.
Yeah.
But with the minute you go to start scratching at that thing, that Vallejo comes right off.
Yep.
It'll come right off. Now you can paint it because what they do is they prime them and then they sell them. Now they're ready to paint. They're not. What we do is different. We'll take that figure. I know I will. I'll take that figure. I'll start painting on it. I'll start masking certain parts off. That shit's going to peel. I'm sorry. It's going to peel. Like Josh said, there's seams on there. The minute you hit that seam, you go to sand that down, you're never going to match that. It ain't going to happen.
Oh, I don't know.
You'll have a raised edge on it. You'll have yeah, like right there. Yep.
Yeah.
That seam on the forearm right there.
If D&D would take the time and just mold take the seams off of it, this would actually be 100% perfect.
Yeah, but why should they have to make their seams 100% perfect to accommodate a primer?
There's a certain channel that oh god, I can't think of the name of it. War something in scale or whatever, and all they use is Vallejo products because they're sponsored by Vallejo. So
I can't see how they did that.
You'll see them lay the Vallejo primer down, and then now we're going on to the paint. What you don't see is a lot of masking. You don't see them masking everything. You don't see them doing a lot of masking. You know, and if you do see them doing the masking, you better believe they're very careful pulling that tape off.
And I want to say they're a big fan of Fallout Hobbies with the stencils. I know which page you're talking about. You can see they use a lot of stencils instead of the tape.
Yeah. Stencils are different. You know, I mean, and it also, guys, you got to get a good tape when you're taping stuff off. You can't just go and buy this stuff, this blue stuff, you know, that you house masking tape or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Heck, that'll take this off.
I mean, and I used it. I used it to mask off this door before I painted the interior because the part of this door has got to be a buff color. So I used it to mask it off, and there's no that didn't come off.
Yeah,
but there's a trick to that. Put it on your skin.
Yes, detack it.
Detack it.
Yeah.
You know, detack it. You know, and don't let it sit too long after you paint. As soon as you're done painting, peel the tape off. And always, guys, don't go across, go down like this.
Some people complain about so you can go into Wilco's. I don't know what it's called over there, but these certain shops, and you can buy a pack of 5 masking tape for, I don't know, a couple of quid. Yeah. But the problem is when you use that stuff on models, it's got so much grip on it that even when you sand the plastic back, even when you de-tack using the back of your hand, when you put that on the plastic, they've got so much grip that they just rip everything off.
I use this. Now, I know guys in certain forums, they say this stuff is garbage. No,
I've got that frog tape. I'll use that.
This stuff is good. It's not automotive, but it's thin enough and it's good.
Yeah.
The other stuff, Tamiya, of course, is good. The other stuff that's good, that's exactly like Tamiya, and you get it at a fraction of the price.
Kabuki.
This stuff right here.
Is that Kabuki?
Yeah, the washi tape.
Yeah.
This one here has got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 24 different rolls in here. And I paid for what I paid for this. Where's it at?
Yeah.
I paid for 3 of these. One of these with 24, 25 rolls in there cost me the same as 3 of these. And these are the Tamiya. Tamiya's got great tape, but this stuff works good too, guys. You can find this, any washi tape, you can find it on Amazon. This just happens to be the one that I found. It's called MT, right there. It's a masking tape. It's a great tape, especially if you're doing stuff like Gordon, the little planes and stuff. If you don't have the automotive stuff or the Tamiya stuff, this stuff works just as good.
Anyway, we're gonna have to bring it to a close there. It's been a great informative evening. Thank you very much to Gordon, Josh, and Gil for joining me. I hope you've all enjoyed everything we've had to say. and you'll join us again next Sunday. So we're on roughly around, just trying to work it out in my head, 7
p.m. your time.
Yeah, about 5:30, 7 UK time.
1 o'clock Central in the US, and Josh, it's what? 11 your time.
Excellent. So anyway, thank you all for joining us. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. It's bye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Good night, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right.